know.
Are you
And we did. We started ready to run, and then we heard, and so now we're going
Thank you.
confirm it or have her confirm it or deny it. She's not talking with us. So.
She mad at you?
Oh, yeah. Because well, partly because we stood up for you on the publication. And we ran into, basically said that basically, the publication fiasco forced for the county because the publication it's true. So anyway, so here's what we're thinking.
Okay, I will go ahead and call to order tonight's meeting for Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've asked Pastor Dave to say a prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you that you for this wonderful city, and we just ask you, Lord, tonight to help us to do the business of the city well, and that your name would be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
And Candy, could you get the basket off of there to make sure there's nothing in there, please? I do have one amendment to the agenda. We need to add some appointments onto the agenda.
I make a motion that we amend the agenda to make the appointments to the fire department
And one police department. And one police department.
and one for the police department.
Okay.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amended agenda, adding appointments for fire and police to the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor? So passes.
Mr. Mayor, before we get into tonight's agenda, I'd like to make a brief statement regarding Ordinance 2065. This is the veto that you issued, correct? There's 3 copies for you. If you guys didn't see it.
Are they all the same?
Yeah, they're all the same.
Oh, here, for one for each of them.
It's important that the record clearly reflects the law and the procedures surrounding this ordinance before we proceed on other business. Kansas law, specifically KSA 12-3003, is clear. If a mayor wants to veto an ordinance, the ordinance must be returned with written objections on or before the next regular council meeting. Before the veto and the objections must be written and submitted together. If that doesn't happen, the ordinance automatically becomes law. This council passed Ordinance 2065 on September 29th. A few days later, you issued a veto dated September 30th. That document contained no written objections, no explanation or reason as to why, or as required by law. Because the veto was returned without written objections, it does not comply with KSA 12-3003 and is therefore invalid. The letter the mayor submitted simply said, I, Mayor Matthew A. Young, do hereby exercise my power as mayor and officially, in written form, do veto ordinance number 2065. That is not enough. The law requires written objections, not just a declaration. Now I understand that the law gives the mayor until the end of this meeting, the next regular council meeting, to return a proper veto. But that time frame only applies if the mayor had not already acted. Since he issued his veto on September 30th, the act was already complete. Once a veto is issued, it cannot be amended, revised, or replaced. The statute does not allow multiple or corrective vetoes. Attorney General Opinion 85-8 of 1985 and 87-188 of 1987 make it clear that when a law prescribes a specific procedure, that procedure is mandatory. Any deviation from it, even if later corrected, is void. By failing to include written objections when the veto was filed, the mayor did not follow the law. This isn't about politics or personal differences. It's about ensuring our city government follows the same rules that apply to everyone else. Any verbal objections made during the September 29th meeting also do not meet the requirements of the statute. The law says in writing, and that's exactly what it means. Under KSA 15301, the mayor's powers are limited to those granted by statute. Since there were no valid written objections, the veto has no legal effect, and Ordinance 2065 stands as law by operation of KSA 12-3003. For the record, I'm asking the city clerk to document that Ordinance 2065 is effective law, as the mayor's veto was procedurally invalid and cannot be corrected after the fact. This council and this community deserve leadership guided by integrity, not manipulation. The law is what keeps government honest and accountable, and tonight we've done exactly that. Thank you. And if you could issue this into the record, it is my statement.
Thank you.
Bear with me just a moment. Jacqueline, are you on?
What are we waiting for?
The attorney to get on.
I'm here. I can hear you all.
Okay, did you hear the proclamation that Councilman Portman read?
No, I did not.
In effect, he says my veto is insufficient and therefore invalid.
Okay, the veto was deposited to the council on the last council meeting.
Sorry.
What is the grounds by which Councilman Portman believes it to be invalid?
Do I need to read it again?
Yeah.
All right. Again, Mr. Mayor, before we begin tonight's agenda, I'd like to make a brief statement about the record regarding Ordinance 2065. I'll skip a little bit and kind of paraphrase here since everybody's already heard this once. Kansas law, specifically KSA 12-3003, is clear. If a mayor wants to veto an ordinance, the ordinance must be returned with written objections on or before the next regular council meeting. Both the veto and the objections must be in writing and submitted together. If that doesn't happen, the ordinance automatically becomes law. I can give you Attorney General opinion of the state of Kansas, 85-8 of 1985 and 87-188 of 1987, make it clear that when a law prescribes a specific procedure, that procedure is mandatory. Any deviation from it, even if corrected later, is void. So when the mayor issued his veto, he gave no written objections so that this council can then deliberate and decide whether they want to override it. Whether we have the members or not, it's still prescribed by law and he's required to give his written objections of it. Not just make a proclamation stating, I hereby veto by my power.
Was the veto delivered to the city after the meeting or only during the meeting, Mr. Mayor?
After the meeting. During the meeting, I vetoed it, writing on the paper itself, veto, with my statement of it not coinciding with proper procedure, and then I sent afterwards the veto in writing. The veto in writing says, as he read, in accordance to City Code 1205 F, I, Mayor Matthew Young, do hereby exercise my power as mayor and officially in writing from written form do veto ordinance number 2065 as was presented on Monday, September 29th, 2025, relating to the appointments of firefighters.
My opinion is that this satisfies the statute, both by what transpired at the meeting as well as the additional action of delivering that in secondary form in writing. So that's my
false.
opinion.
The mayor made verbal statements at the meeting and submitted a veto stating that he hereby does veto. He did not give written objections to the veto, therefore it is illegal and an invalid veto.
And he just stated, the mayor just stated also that he wrote on the paper that he vetoed it and why he vetoed it. It does not say right here why he vetoed it.
Our records do not reflect that it is a legal veto.
The law is that
It actually does. It says mayor vetoed the motion stating that it creates a conflict.
Is your veto the one I passed out to you? Is that your legal document vetoing all ordinance
This is the
2065?
written one to accompany.
That is
my
your
written
veto. It does not have written objections, therefore it is invalid.
okay, so the mayor's authority to veto something is there's two options. You can veto it in person whenever the council is having their meeting, or he can deliver a veto in writing after the meeting, as long as it's within 2 weeks of the ordinance. It doesn't have to be at the time. And so in this case, he chose to do it at the time and explain all of his reasons, and then thereafter submitted the writing just as a formality. And so my opinion is that this is a valid veto.
The Kansas State statute states that the mayor shall return a written veto with objections. His written veto has no objections, therefore under KSA 12-3003, his veto is invalid.
By definition of objection, my vetoing itself is an objection.
No, you're required to give reasons. According to KSA 3003, you're required to object in writing with reasons so that this council can deliberate.
What you're reading is not the entirety of the statute. So you have to read the entirety of the statute.
What part of the statute am I missing?
But also, that is my opinion. If you want to get a different opinion, or you all want to retain alternative counsel or contact the Attorney General for how to deal with this particular situation, you're welcome to do that. This is my opinion.
So, that is your opinion. I've already submitted to the city clerk to pass ordinance or to show ordinance 2065 as valid and law.
Which according to our city attorney, you're not able to do at this moment.
False. I can submit anything to the record, and I am submitting that it is city law. And you can say that the law doesn't specify what written form or what form of written objections it must take. The statute says uses the term written objections, which is plural, meaning the mayor must state reasons. A one-word statement such as veto is not sufficient. Attorney General Opinion 87-188 explicitly says objections must explain the grounds for the veto, otherwise the council has nothing to review or override.
So the objections were given on the date of the veto being described to you all. He did not allow himself the time that he is prescribed by statute, the 2 full weeks to deliberate on.
So hold on, pause right there. You're saying that the mayor submitted his veto prior to issuing his written objections, correct?
I'm saying that whenever a governing body's president, in this case mayor, vetoes an ordinance in person at the time that it is attempting to be being passed with an explanation that satisfies the law. Then, in addition, he also submitted it to you all in writing.
He did not.
And
He did not submit his veto in writing with objections, i.e. invalid veto. Had the mayor issued his veto with his objections, it would be a valid veto. And we would instead be discussing overriding it.
He did issue his veto with the objections. You all knew what the objections were, his bases for his veto last time you all had.
Okay, I will reiterate. KSA 12-3003 states the term written objections.
Councilman Portman is not wrong that he can submit whatever he wants to the clerk. That doesn't make it valid, but just because a attorney gives advice to a governing body does not mean the governing body has to adhere to the advice of council.
Well, the mayor's going to adhere to you, but the council can decide that what I'm stating is correct. So does that make Ordinance 2065 valid in law?
So like I said, my opinion is that his veto was valid, and so therefore.
I want a second opinion. I want outside counsel.
And so you all can, vote to get another opinion, concerning that.
I want outside counsel.
You can submit whatever you want, Councilman Portman, to the clerk, which is Becky in this instance. But unless the governing body as a whole does something in a legal form,
I make a motion to get a second opinion.
Okay, there's a motion on the table requesting a second opinion regarding the validity of the mayor's veto of Ordinance 2065. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to get a second opinion on this. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of getting a second opinion on the validity of the mayor's veto? Passes unanimous. A second opinion will be gotten regarding the veto.
In addition, I would like to make a statement regarding the veto of Ordinance 2065. It is my contention that the mayor, with the assistance of the city attorney, conducted a serial meeting informing council members of the requirements for overriding a veto prior to the mayor's veto and prior to the ordinance being promulgated. That collectively involved a majority of the members of the body of the agency. It shared a common topic of discussion concerning the business and affairs of the body of the agency, and was intended to influence or alter or the reached agreement on the matter that would be required in action. It is my contention that the mayor violated the Kansas Open Meetings Act.
So Councilman, in response to that, that is not what happened. So.
That's what you say didn't happen.
Did you call the council members and explain the veto override procedure?
I got that call, but I thought I was by myself.
I got that call and I thought I was by myself too.
I did not take your call. At the next meeting, I asked you if you had something important to tell me, and you explained to me the override procedure, which at that time, I think you said it took a 5-vote requirement to override the veto, which is not in accordance with 3003. It only takes a supermajority, 3/4.
So remember last time we had the council meeting, we said that 12203 had been repealed.
203 had been repealed. 3003 has not been repealed and is current.
And it's also what I base my validity of the invalid veto.
I misspoke on the number. I said 122003. The actual number is 123003.
12-2-3. Well, we were reading the ordinance that I read last week, last meeting, that has the override procedure for city municipalities like Pleasanton.
Well, according to the adjournment on Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 2 p.m., Kansas Statute 123003, both in the House and the Senate, is valid. Now, I'm not here to put the mayor on trial. I think we have spent more than an adequate amount of time on this for today. There are some other things that are somewhat pressing. I would like to see the fire department appointments made, and we have an executive session to discuss non-elected personnel job performance that I am very interested in.
So the question is now, with the veto in question, can any appointments be made today regarding the fire department?
Yes, as long as the fire chief brings it up, because
It's
ordinance
not legal
2065
yet.
is valid law.
It is not.
By your opinion and the attorney's opinion.
No. In accordance to law, any ordinance is not valid until it's signed by the mayor and published in the newspaper.
False. Because you did not submit a valid written veto, the ordinance automatically becomes law without your signature.
Okay. But it must still be published in the paper, correct?
False. It takes effect the day it was passed.
Jacqueline?
Okay, so it does have to be published in the newspaper regardless, and secondly, the meeting that you all had where you guys talked about the water and you talked about the appointment of firefighters and that sort of a thing, there was a lot of legal issues that are brought up. And I, as the city attorney, am within my rights to call each and every single one of you to answer any and all questions that you have and give you any and all information about how ordinances are created, vetoed, and veto overridden.
Okay, are you going to acknowledge acknowledge 12-3003 and the fact that he did not supply a written objection. Therefore, his veto is invalid and ordinance 2065 is law.
So, to the extent that there are conflicting statutes, I will need to review.
What's the conflicting statute?
Hold on 1 second so that I can bring up the other one. It's the statute that I read out loud at the last meeting. I don't have it in front of me right now, so you guys can move on and I'll come back whenever I get that pulled back up.
I believe in essence, the existing statute, were it not changed, says that it is the mayor that will appoint firefighters with the concurrence of the council. The new one said that the fire chief would appoint firefighters with the concurrence of the mayor and the council.
The mayor isn't involved. It's appointed by the fire chief, approval by the council.
Yeah. Either way, we either have the mayor who can appoint firefighters, or we have a fire chief who can appoint firefighters. The real issue, we need to appoint the 5 firefighters that made the application.
Okay, the statute is KSA 12-10A06.
And that would not pertain to us because we are a city of the 3rd class.
So I need to review 12-3003 and 12-10A06 and get back with you all. Either way, the appointments of firefighters can continue if that is what the body wants to do.
Is those said appointments done by the mayor or by the fire chief?
Insofar as no new statute or ordinance has been published in the newspaper, the prior one still governs.
Okay.
So we are beholden to the newspaper to publish our ordinance in order for them to become law.
Yes, in accordance to law.
So if the paper decides not to, not saying that you guys would, just theoretically, decides not to publish it or forgets about it or it doesn't, and the ordinance was supposed to take effect on that Wednesday following our meeting, and they don't for 2 weeks, our law is just null and void.
The law states that an ordinance becomes law after publication in the newspaper. So presumably, if 2 weeks have gone by and it's not published in the newspaper, then you all have the opportunity to then get the said ordinance into the newspaper.
So my question is, are you going to appoint every firefighter that the chief requests?
I have a list of firefighters that the chief asked me to appoint, and it's my intention to appoint every firefighter that the chief has asked me to appoint.
Is that all of them? There's nobody that's holding back?
Everybody that has had an interview that
Yeah, please come to the mic.
Push a
every-
little
Okay. All right. Everybody that turned in an application or had a previous application that was not appointed the first time had another interview. And in that interview process, after we was done with talking with the interviews, we discussed, and we are moving forward with everybody that has come to put an application in at this time. Now, I want to reiterate. Now, I have asked to appoint these firefighters to the fire department. That is the first step in the process. You know, they still have to pass physicals. They still have to pass background tests, background checks, things like that. Normal policy. But, you know, we are moving forward to try to get the numbers of the fire department higher, and the mayor and I and some, can I say who else was in the interview process? Is that okay?
Some of the council members that were here.
There was 2 council personnel that was present, and they asked their own questions, and we all come to a consensus to yes or no on every firefighter, and we discussed it after they were done, and every firefighter is going to get appointed and then move forward in the process.
All right, we can continue until the attorney can confirm that ordinance 2065 is law.
Are you done with me for now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Does that sound good, Jacqueline?
I didn't hear him.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to proceed. Shall we go ahead and go with the appointments now then? So upon request of the fire chief, I would like consent of council to appoint Dennis Mitchell to the fire department. If I could have all in favor or consent of giving consent.
Don't you need a second?
Consent of council is their acknowledgement. It doesn't necessarily need to be a motion, correct, Jacqueline?
Actually, I think it does need
I
to be a
think
motion.
I think it needs a motion and a second.
Then we should do all 5 at once.
Is she there?
Are you still there?
Yeah, so you're asking if for consent, you're saying I want consent of council to appoint all of these folks, and so they can you can do it in bulk or you can do it individually. Best practices would be a motion and a second, and all in favor say aye for
Okay.
those appointments.
And we would need to do appointments individually? Or can we do them bulk? Sorry.
You can do them in bulk unless the council has requested them to be individual for some particular reason.
Okay. In that case, if I can get a motion for consent of council to appoint Dennis Mitchell, Tyler Swarens, Ron Miller, Jake Mattingly, and Ian Goucher to the fire department.
I make a motion that we, as council, consent to the appointment of the following firefighters: Dennis Mitchell, Tyler Swarens, Ron Miller, Jake Mattingly, and Ian Goucher.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent of council to appoint these firefighters. Any discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimous. If I could also, while we're doing appointments, get consent of council to appoint Adam Smith as a part-time police officer.
I'll make a motion to approve Adam Smith as part-time police officer.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Adam Smith as a part-time police officer. Any discussion? All in favor?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we go on a 5-minute recess so that the city clerk can provide the effective date of Councilwoman Kim Herring's resignation.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for a 5-minute recess to produce the resignation date for Kimberly Herring. Returning at 6:40. All those in favor? So we're on a 5-minute recess.
Which is on you, I'm afraid. We can either, it's in the minutes, or there should be a copy of the report.
He lives up in Preston. She shows him the thing and says, here is the document that says that.
Yeah.
It's my boy group.
It's my mom. I'm late because I had to go to the physical therapy. That's a long report that I didn't have, so.
So we got through it.
I go with the next one after the wine.
Nobody's already. So we contacted
I've been seeing her since the midnight, and she's taking my pain levels down from a like over probably 12 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10. She's amazing. So I praise her all every day, like literally. So she's absolutely amazing.
But it's on the way.
I know.
She said, well, it was.
That's why we were recommended to go.
The
So
official budget was.
She's a sports med physical therapist, but she's amazing. So
Our contention
I
is
find that sportsmen
that everybody else.
a little more brutal, but they do a better job.
she's brutal.
My wife's sister was
I've always
a
fair budget as a
promotion.
So that was in that motion.
That wasn't in the motion, that was in the document.
She's amazing, but I probably told her I hate her 20 times during my 45-minute appointment, and then afterwards I'm like, hey, love you so much, thank you. Yeah.
So,
And it's amazing what sort of the trigger points.
so anyway, so David contacts the state.
There's a trigger point for your site.
So after we called, we went to a great zero, and it's sort of their back. So Danielle calls the state, Jason said, "No, we have to."
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I'm gonna buy some hogs in the spring.
If it's not approved by the October 1st, essentially what
She's
that
like, you
does
need
is
to slow down.
Yeah, I'm buying one. I'm gonna buy some hogs in the spring.
I'm a sprinter.
to use it.
There is no way.
Cows are what I want to get into. I've got a pond that's
Well,
So-
turtles is my favorite though. That's
So
what I'm
anyway,
screwing
they're
with.
going to
I didn't do the shot last season.
Can I have them back? And they say,
And
and so we call them and say, well, there's a problem because they never know what a specific budget. Specific budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do it.
Yes, I love the purple though. I call it my little.
So,
Yeah.
so anyway, so
I don't know if they're
anybody
gonna
who
clear
wants
me
to
for
contest,
this-
who wants to
this year,
contest the
so
budget,
it's
then
my last season, obviously.
officially
this year,
they
so.
are basically
But as long as
going
they don't give me her shot, that's what
to
it's.
go to use the.
At the community
I
center.
understand that
The first week.
So here's the other thing that's really,
I don't know,
really
there's
strange.
just
It is a qualifying
The
meeting.
reason I asked, and it's no big deal, you are, really awesome.
Almost.
Is because they can't have food.
Basically, she gives you the wrong form,
And they said,
even though
well, she
you're.
said,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, trying to
She
figure
said,
out.
No, it's not me individually. I think at one point there was,
Crash.
I know Angie was working on something to do like a citizen
Yeah.
academy. I don't know.
And because it
Running
wasn't
around,
optional,
she's like,
you had
"I'm way too
basically, so what they said is basically they would check what they can on this lease.
All of the name and good fun and sports.
Yeah, well,
They
it's
come
having
home, they did
memories.
go.
Last year.
No.
So anyway.
Yeah, everybody else in that, 'cause that's
You
one
have two
of
votes
my
on
mom.
it. There are two
In
votes.
itself, and it's all because of all the
You
sports
have
that
to
I
go.
like volleyball.
That's how you don't do
Did some basketball.
Yeah, we're okay with
Well,
it.
it should be like every other Thursday.
And sports were all.
I gotta show you.
Yeah, that's really.
Or one of those things that makes like whoever more WTO did it.
And so it's really in some-
As Johnson pointed out, they're revenue control. And by doing that, he was, of course, some
Keep that in mind.
So I'm saying that's something that
I may hurt in the morning when I get up, but I get up.
So, this is the other thing. It's just, we're a small community. We can jump out of the truck and start coming.
Well, because my wife asked me if I think mom's got it, I said, yeah.
I saw that. They're gonna love
It
it.
hurt us 5 times. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been looking for extra just because for the cost. For the cost of one capital repair, I think last year we had extra count chairs and this leaves us better off than a
Where is Candy? We'll resume as soon as Candy makes it back in here, as we need our acting clerk to be able to move forward with the meeting.
Can we extend it for 5 more minutes?
What?
She needs 5 more minutes.
Okay. She would need to join to take notes, to request another recess. Candy?
She's on the phone. It's okay, you can just make a motion.
Okay.
hopefully.
I'll make a motion for another 5 minutes.
I make a motion for another 5 more minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for an additional 5 minutes. All in favor? Okay. We'll resume again at 6:45.
Chicken quesadillas.
You can do that.
So we're looking for Kim Herring's resignation day.
Right?
Yeah, you heard this?
It would be 7/21.
I still got, so our big running joke when I had it down here was I had.
Unless we didn't meet that day.
Yes, I still swear.
The problem is.
I was trying to put it together, I don't think it was.
Well, actually, yeah, it should have been
I'm not
August.
using it.
I'm
Didn't she
August.
text you?
But because it's.
How did you receive the resignation?
Yeah, I've got an iron.
Yeah.
I've got a steamer that's ready.
And then it was accepted at the following meeting.
Chuck, glad they got the door.
His phone is like a doorbell.
You're welcome.
Oh, mine's better. Come here.
His wife set it up for him.
She's a tucker.
I think it was August 18th. No, or August 4th. Or, no, it was Sunday. You said it was Sunday, maybe August 17th or else August 3. No, it must have been August 17th.
17th would have been the Saturday before the meeting. I think.
I'm just looking
I
at
can't
that
see that
calendar right
far.
there. Is the 17th the Sunday before the 18th Monday?
Yeah.
July?
August.
August.
Yeah, it's Sunday, 17th is Sunday.
But it's still like. Yeah, so. Same thing.
I'll screenshot that and save it.
Yeah.
It's all about it. That's right. I want the orders. Nickels if you got them. Right. Okay.
Thanks for it, good time, Mary. You're going back, you're fine, you're picking up stuff. Everything. Yeah. No.
So I asked you, it's not part of our club too. So.
It's on your own or just on someone else? I stood on my own. They want you right down to it. They walk out, we're back, they pull hair. It's all. Either that or she's afraid you're gonna ask her what the $5,000.
Get ready to grab the truck and say that. And we got it in, it was thrown away. So now it was. Hey. Sure. Can we show it? Where's my light? I know all the passwords, remember that.
It was July 21st.
Was it July?
It was July 21st.
Okay.
That hasn't worked out so far.
You got it the day after July meeting?
No, the day before, I got it to 7:20.
Just let her know.
Okay, we will resume once again when
What are you doing? Now dance. Are you sending me pictures? I am not your own. What is wrong with you?
I'll finish it if I like you babysitter, so I have to stay.
Okay, ending our recess, we will resume again. Ask the city clerk to please note that we did extend that recess again, another 5 minutes in search of that. I have found it from the minutes from July 21st, where the mayor read the resignation letter from Councilwoman Kimberly Herring.
May I address that issue, Mr. Mayor?
You may.
In accordance with Kansas KSA 12104A, cities consolidated, cities and counties procedures for filing of prolonged vacancies. The vacancy must be filled within 60 days. We're in violation of that statute in that we have not appointed a member to the council for Kimberly Herring. I make a motion that we appoint Bob Woody of 601 East Park Street, Pleasanton, Kansas 66075 to fill Kim Herring's vacancy to serve until the election is certified. In addition, we will need to appoint a replacement for Councilwoman Randall because we will exceed the 60-day limit if we wait for certification of the election.
Okay. So the motion before us, yes?
Councilman Skipper, were you reading 12-104A? So it says, if the appointment is not made within the 60-day time frame, the governing body shall pass a resolution calling for a special election to fill such a vacancy to be held within 45 days of the passage of such resolution.
It doesn't say that we have to, I don't think.
The governing body shall pass a resolution calling for a special election to fill such a vacancy to be held within 45 days of the passage of such resolution.
Yep. Well, I guess we need to hold a special election.
The issue is that the election is prior to that 45 days, so therefore it would be an election within the 45 days.
That one covers Kim's, but it still doesn't cover.
Which
Randall.
But that's not been 60 days since her.
It has not, but if we wait for the certification of the election, none of which are running for Councilman Randall's position, we have to make an appointment. We cannot survive on 3 council members.
Okay.
We cannot conduct business in a proper manner with 3. We meet the requirements for a quorum, but we need a 4th member.
Okay. So for filling Kimberly's spots, are we good to wait until the election for that, as opposed to trying to pass a resolution for the election?
When is the election supposed to be certified?
November 10th is my understanding.
Okay, so I think we can wait for Kim's
Okay.
because we already have an election coming up for that one.
And then within 60 days of this vacancy, there's still the opportunity for an appointment. So,
From the mayor. Correct?
Yes.
so
It's an appointment by and with consent of council. So it would be with the consent of council for the appointment of that position.
yeah, by a majority vote of the remaining members. In regard to the other issue of the ordinance, there are 2, well, there's more than 2, but insofar as the ordinance it was not attested to by the clerk and not published in the paper, there's still opportunity for you all to override that veto.
It's not true. According to the KSA 12-3003, the mayor did not supply a valid veto. Therefore, at the end of today's meeting, the ordinance goes into effect.
It still has to be attested to and published in the newspaper.
Correct, it does. So that's why
But regardless of the propriety of a veto, to the extent that 12-303 governs, you all still have the opportunity to override that veto.
but we don't have to because it's an invalid veto.
What I'm saying is that you can contest the issue of whether or not the veto is valid, or you can simply vote by 3/4, which would be all of y'all. And then you don't have to dispute the issue of whether or not the veto is
But
valid.
there's nothing to dispute. The mayor's veto is invalid. So,
Look, you all
I
need
appreciate the city attorney's opinion. However, under Kansas law, a legal opinion does not override plain language of the statute. KSA 12-3003 clearly states that an ordinance must be returned with written objections to constitute a valid veto. Since that did not occur, my position remains that the veto was procedurally invalid.
Okay, and you all made a vote to get a second opinion concerning that. And so now I'm telling you that you can do two options. You can go with your guys' motion that was majority, all of y'all, unanimous, to go ahead and get a second opinion about that. Or you can vote to override that veto by the same thing. And that would be in effect, as opposed to delaying to wait for that second opinion.
What I'm saying is that we don't need to get a second opinion, because KSA 12-3003 states that since he did not submit a valid veto, the ordinance passes with or without his signature at the end of this meeting.
Which is your judgment, and she's telling you her judgment.
Can you read KSA 3003 for me? I don't have it in front of me.
Signing or veto of ordinances in council cities, exceptions, passage over veto, signing ordinances in commission cities, procedure attestation, seal. The mayor of a council city shall have the power to sign or veto any ordinance passed by the council, provided that ordinances on which the mayor casts the deciding vote in appropriation ordinances, the mayor shall have no veto, and he shall sign such ordinance if present at the meeting, and if the mayor refuses or neglects to sign or be not present at the meeting, they shall take effect without his or her signature. Any ordinance vetoed by the mayor may be passed over the veto by a vote of 3/4 of the whole number of councilmen elected, notwithstanding the veto, provided that if the mayor does not sign his or her approval of the ordinance or return the same with his or her veto, stating his or her objection in writing on or before the next.
Okay, right there. Stating his or her objection in writing. He did not. Therefore,
Okay, so that's the part that we disagree about, and what I'm saying is
I understand that you disagree, but your opinion does not play into a fact of the Kansas state law. Therefore, Ordinance 2065 at the end of this meeting is valid. There is no need for a second opinion. There is nothing else that needs to be done. Ordinance 2065, I will then direct the city clerk to publish Ordinance 2065 in the paper on Wednesday, making it law.
if you all choose not to override the veto, then you're within your rights to say whatever you want to say. The issue is that it's still disputed. It would be undisputed if you would just choose to override the veto.
It still stands that according to KSA 3003, I'll say it again, his veto is invalid. There's no need for a second opinion. There's no need to override his veto.
That's by your understanding. You've already requested a second opinion, so we need to leave to getting a second opinion then. Since the council has already voted a majority to get a second opinion, then that now passes to getting a second opinion for the next meeting. And then at that point, it would be determined if it is an invalid veto or not.
And so that notwithstanding, that is why I gave you the other option, because then it wouldn't be disputed.
Honestly, at this point, I'd like to get a second opinion because I want it proved that I was correct.
And you could theoretically do both.
Okay, so are we able to now move on then?
So we can, before we move on, so we can override him, we can make a motion to override the veto of the mayor?
Well, it says 3/4 of the
I'm
whole
asking
number.
I'm asking the lawyer. Thank you.
So I believe that you can, because I believe that it's 3/4 of the voting membership.
So when this question was asked last week, you said that we need 4/5.
Yeah.
No, when it was asked last week, I said that it was required 5 under 1210A06. And the ordinance, or the statute that was brought to me by Councilman Skipper last week was a repealed statute. So I only had the information that I had about the 5 that was required.
So at this point, this council is now 2 weeks behind on the ordinance that we passed and made law because we all tried to veto or override his veto
There was no motion to override a veto.
because you told us we couldn't.
And now all of those firefighters are in fact appointed.
Okay, but that notwithstanding, you told us that we couldn't override his veto at the last meeting. I laid out specifically why his veto was invalid, and I was told by you that we should get a second opinion. I feel like we jumped the gun to get the second opinion, in my opinion, because I laid it out. KSA 12-3003 is a legal law, and the veto was invalid. Therefore, it's law. So now we are just playing this ring around. We have to override his veto now.
You can wait 2 weeks or whatever it takes to get another opinion. That's your choice.
I make a motion to override the mayor's veto.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to override the mayor's veto. Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. The mayor's veto has been overridden. Making ordinance 2065 to be published and become law with its complete conflict.
That's your opinion.
No, that's fact.
Can you lay out that fact?
The fire chief reports to the mayor.
Okay.
If he's now appointing,
That
then
doesn't mean
that's a
he doesn't
conflict.
report to you.
How's it a conflict if he's appointing? Because he still has to bring the people that he interviewed to us so we can approve them or not approve them. So how is that a
He
conflict?
still seeks consent from you all.
Correct, and you
Correct.
you seek consent from us.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're just transferring your power to him.
Thank you for putting it that way.
You're welcome. You've been the gatekeeper for months, and it's finally moved past.
And you're responsible for what happens next.
Okay.
Okay. So long as we're clear on that.
There is a motion on the floor.
For what?
I made a motion to report to appoint Ron Woody to fill the position. We did not get a second. It either died on the floor for lack of second, but it is on the floor and needs to be fixed. The lawyer points out, and correctly, that it says we shall have a special election, or pass an ordinance for a special election. It doesn't say that we can if we want to. It says we shall. Now, we either follow the rules or we don't. I don't care.
Yes, so what the lawyer pointed out was is the motion becomes invalid because the law requires a resolution to hold a special election should we surpass the 60 days.
Yeah. And she very clearly pointed out, council shall pass a resolution.
Well, in this case, insofar as it is essentially a legal impossibility to conform
Yeah.
because of the actual election that's going to be happening on November 4th. Impossibility is an excuse. So in this case, the impossibility because the November election will have happened, the vacancy will be filled.
Yeah.
So therefore, any appointment that, or excuse me, any special election that would happen in 45 days would be invalid because the position would already be filled. There would be no spot to fill by a special election.
And my point is, we need to kill that motion.
Dies for lack of second.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Although we do have
Moved and seconded.
on the speaker.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda? Passes unanimous. Okay, is Haley Foltz here?
I don't think so.
If I could get a motion for executive session for non-elected personnel to discuss job performance.
I make a motion.
How long?
5 minutes.
Sorry.
You're fine.
I make a motion for executive session for non-elected personnel for discuss job of performance for 5 minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
I think I call for discussion.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I believe that we need more time than 5 minutes. I would like to see at least 10.
So is that an amendment to the motion?
I would like to amend the motion for a 10-minute
Can you
recess.
please also just identify the department?
It doesn't say.
It would be Parks and Rec, Parks and Lakes.
Did you make the motion? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we recess for 10 minutes for executive session for job performance.
Hold on, you'll just have to say amend the motion.
I amend the motion for 5 minutes to 10 minutes for non-elected personnel for job performance.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to amend the original motion to 10 minutes for executive session. Any discussion? All those in favor?
We need to add the Parks and Rec in there.
It's
It's
motion.
for the record.
Okay, so now we have to, the motion on the table is for recess for 10 minutes to executive session. All in favor? Okay, returning at 7:17.
Not good.
No, I was not. Not all day. I worked for 3 hours.
Who's on it?
Well, let's see, you got the 2 from yesterday.
I have one that actually says my name.
Mom. Jenny.
I have my own business cards too. FYI. Too late.
Thanks, Pastor. Norma Jean Long
Says
and
who?
Eddie Lee Cantor.
Your opinion doesn't count.
What?
You're not good enough to vote yet. You can't. You like that?
I can make a waffle boat.
I don't know about the other. Let's see here. More than 38. Yeah, well, yeah. And Eddie Lee.
96. They said 10 minutes.
No, 80. 50 something.
Right?
37.
They did get erased out of here.
To do what?
The first person to get outside was $10. Did you hear that?
Okay, well, I was losing that one.
Ready for all this?
I'm just gonna say if they elect Young to repeal that ordinance, I'm gonna make a motion to repeal it. I think that was a wrong decision. I don't think they should have taken the mayor's ability to appoint firefighters away from him. That's per statute, and that he's right, it does create a conflict of interest. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I've already said though, like if it's God's will for me to get elected, I'll serve. If not, then no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be upset about it, but,
Right.
you know.
Oh, my.
I don't think that the city's opinion was very represented because most of the citizens don't come to these meetings.
Right.
And if they did, they might have other opinions than what actually is happening, so.
Did you walk outside? I'd say some of them left. I'd say some of them left. Who knows? Tonight's been such a dog in the hunt.
Where's the chief at?
Yes.
She's standing.
You wanted me to stay.
Is there?
Too late. And I can still go home and make the walk home.
No, first of all, I have a problem.
So,
But she didn't know what she was
and
doing.
that's my
I'm
problem.
sure she didn't. She's kind of. I don't think she probably knew what she
You
was
know
doing.
you're not my notes, right?
I know,
No.
give her to me
No,
and
I
take
bet
it
she was
out
like, what?
of this room.
Okay.
Oh, she was
So I built that.
That's okay, because it's
What
okay.
cost for that thing? I have not been paid yet. Oh, really? Right. So I told Meredith, bill again. So we will see. Okay. So the other people aren't getting paid. Oh, I'm wondering if I wanted it in the staff or if it was by personal for not paying her. No, so I don't know. So I have to
I
stay in.
didn't take your money too.
So can I.
They said it's
Every
better.
grade like to go like from
I ended up when you were in PT, so.
Chris Martin's cell phone, his credit card wasn't paid. Yeah, and I'm hearing the road rock hasn't been paid. Right. Yeah. So here's the thing that happened yesterday, that happened Friday, is that
But it's too late for that.
I can't remember her name now, she's always been kind of a pain in the ass in the work department.
Well, I usually bring my money to these meetings because it's stronger than the Sprite like rock out
She
that's fine.
was appointed a precinct committee person a couple of days after she moved to Lee Summit.
17. Do you not pay attention?
Anyway. A Republican? Yeah. And so, yeah.
Well, why don't you
You
got a mouth? I know you know how to.
they got notice that she was not to be, all contact with her was to be drawn from Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more pass and then off to your.
She may have been a problem with Sheriff's office is looking at it with a great deal of suspicion. Why are these bills not being paid? Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hope that the money's not. Yeah, no kidding. So
Yeah, because James came in, we were talking, he said his credit card hadn't been paid.
who's that?
James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
person that pays a partial payment is the person that's used to not making money and can't pay bills. And you've got that mentality sitting in there.
I don't know, Sandbrook says they're, and this was a month ago, no, about 3 weeks ago, he says they're caught up, but and they've been paying late fees out of other county funds.
And your credit cards. How much late fees do you pay on that?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And then our credit rating. Oh my gosh.
So,
Good.
anyway, I just,
Well, we'll see who shows up whenever Baker calls for intervention. I don't know. We'll see.
so we heard that Scott Schwab, said that the appointment of that using appointing people to vote on replacing an elected official was illegal.
Using appointed. So as far
So
as
the voting,
precinct people?
yeah. So the ones that were voted on and vote, the ones who were appointed.
I said 7/17.
For replacement of elected officials.
60 seconds.
Where'd that come from?
Well, I know that that's true.
Yep,
That's
'cause I'm
true.
that
There's-
person.
It's in the state Democrat bylaw, so we don't know if it's in that thing that coincide with the state or not.
See, this
So we
is
sent,
why I should not
I
go
sent a
back.
question into the Secretary of State's office. And, I mean, once Kelly approved the appointment, it doesn't make any difference, I mean, it's legal.
Yeah.
But, so, we sent in a request for clarification.
So, okay, so that's the difference because everybody that's on the 23 or however many that are Republican precinct people have either been appointed by Kelly or elected.
Right.
So it's a moot point. They're all legal.
No.
They have to put their name on the dotted line and be voted in.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So what's
So when Kelly approved Danielle as county clerk, that was, that made it legal. Okay, but in terms of, I mean, our understanding is that the only people who can vote to replace an elected official are precinct committee people who are elected. Which is 9.
Yeah. So when is that going on?
Well, I don't know. We'll have a vote about that.
Resuming normal session, no action taken. City administrator and departmental reports. Since Becky is not here, Candy, did you have anything specific on anything?
I did not.
Okay. Any questions from the council regarding any departmental reports?
That is,
Chief Wisdom, did you have any updates on the fire department itself that you would like to give at this time?
I do. Thank you very much. I apologize for that. Okay, since the last meeting, or last council meeting, the city fire has participated in the General Pleasanton Days. We had a booth set up, and the firefighters sponsored, the firefighters themselves sponsored a couple of the kids' events that was going on. Seemed like it was a really good deal for the firefighters. The public was really interested in it. one of the applications that was appointed tonight come from General Pleasanton Days. So getting out there, getting in the public is starting to move forward in trying to get more people on the department. Also, last week from the 5th to the 11th was Fire Safety Week. Last Friday, myself and 3 of the firefighters went to the school. We talked to everybody from preschool all the way up to 6th grade. We talked about fire safety, about fire, getting out of your house, knowing where to go, things like that. But one of the big things this year for the training at the school was lithium batteries. And when it was first brought up to me, I thought, why do the kids need to know about lithium batteries? It is charging their Chromebooks, it is charging their phones and stuff like that. So like whenever they're charging their tablets at home, places to put them, not on your bed, and make sure they're on a hard surface with well-ventilated areas around them, things like that. And, some of the questions that was brought up was, is this something that seems to be a bigger problem getting into structure fires? And yes, that's why they're really talking about not necessarily just the laptops or the Chromebooks or the iPads or whatever they have. It's the cords, it's the plug-ins going into the walls and things like that, making sure they're well ventilated. So, going off of that, I would like to in the future put something together for the city of Pleasanton to maybe come together on a Saturday or an evening or something like that and discuss things like this. Because talking to the kids, they listened, they knew exactly what we was talking about and everything, but we also, I think, more education to the public is always a good thing. So at some point moving forward, I would like to maybe put something on at the community center about some kind of a fire safety and things like that as well, just to get the community more understanding of what we do and the willingness that we have to continue to serve them. So the last thing, we've talked about gear for quite some time. I talked to Chief Hegwald in the county. His specs that he had, there was some stuff in the specs he had that was more oriented to full-time firefighters that use this stuff on a daily basis in structure fires. They could take that material out and put something in that's a little bit cheaper but still safe for the volunteers to use, and that's going to bring the cost of that set of gear down significantly. So in all, the county's trying to save money, but I don't want to keep saying I'm waiting, because at some point in time we're just going to have to start getting gear. But if they can get the bids in on their end of it, potentially maybe we can get maybe 5 sets of gear for the money that we're talking that we have allotted to start buying gear for 4 sets right now. So that's where we're at on gear. There are some with the new appointees tonight that potentially would bring the department to 12 people. That brings up some problems in itself. If we have that many people, we're going to have to look into doing something about radios, because the department has 2 radios right now. We're going to have to look into, luckily I've talked with Chief Hegwald, and they are still willing to allow us to use gear that is not being used by county personnel to get these firefighters into gear that's as of last time that I talked with him. So we have something there, but we're going to have to start doing something about gear for sure. But other than that, I don't have anything else. I just know that the public comment that has been brought to me throughout just going around town seems to be positive about the fire department right now. You know, some of the businesses I've met with and talked with them people about the direction we're going, the things that we're doing. They are very positive and very thankful for what we're doing. So I just hope and pray that it'll continue to go in that direction. I don't have anything else.
Okay, can you, for the next meeting, can you give us a, look for some prices on radios for us and everything? And
I
then-
talked with Chris Martin, the county IT guy, and that's who does the radios for everybody. Back then, and he went off of March pricing, they were to get a radio, a standard battery, the charger, the standard antenna, which we won't necessarily need the extended reach antenna for in here in the city. They were going to be around $700 a radio to get what the same thing as what the two radios that we have for the department right now. One thing I have on being on the county, I have on my phone, it's called a JPS. That is a radio that I can use through my phone. I have not sought out any information on that to see if that would be a cheaper way to go, but then also that's going to be up to the firefighter if they want to put that on their phones. Now, if they do, and say they don't want to be on the fire department anymore, that number that's issued to them can be shut off to where their JPS will not work even if they're not on the fire department anymore. So that's something that we can control in people putting stuff on their phones for fire department use.
Have you checked with Tristan to see if he has any extra radios?
I have not, but I can. Yes, I will reach out to him. I just know that I've sought out with Chris Martin, and that was March pricing, and I told him I would get back with him to get some updated pricings and stuff. But if we're going to have 12 people, I've got to have more than 2 radios.
I'd see if Tristan has any extras, maybe Chris
To get by till we can get something done. So.
And then on the gear stuff too, if you have, the quotes to come back to us on everything, that would be.
I can get you. I will have to look back to see what I do have. Wise Fire's estimate on my phone from whenever councilperson Randall and I talked with them. I do have that on my phone for an estimate of how much that gear was. The book that she had the first night I was appointed, I don't know where that book is, so I don't know. I would have to do some digging in to try to figure out what gear that was to be able to get pricings for that. And I know that was originally approved, and then we've started going down these other searches to try to get more gear for close to the same money. So I will get that by the next meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I had for you.
Anybody else?
No,
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, moving on, ADA plan. You all have in your packet a proposal for the construction of an ADA plan. It basically goes through what the intended results of it is in formulating a long-term plan to make sure that the city is looked at and examined from every aspect. And the goals of said plan is on the last sheet, second to last sheet of that. From the infant stage to full implementation, the city will have reached the following goals in ADA compliance. Number 1 is to have identified physical obstacles in the public agency's facilities and limit the accessibility of its program and or activities to individuals with disabilities. Number 2, we'll have detailed methods that will be used to make the facilities and public spaces owned or leased by the city accessible. Number 3, the ability to specify the schedule for taking the steps necessary to upgrade pedestrian accesses to meet ADA and Section 504 requirements in each year following the transition plan, and identify Number 4, identify the official responsible for implementation of the plan once adopted. The last page is a copy of her credentials there. Points of note would be
It looks to me like the projected cost for developing this plan is, she's saying that it will not exceed $5,000.
yes.
And she is going to bill at a rate of $50 an hour for generating this plan.
It is at the council's pleasure to accept this offer of creating the ADA plan. She states that the plan would be the property of the cities, not hers, in so doing.
I don't see that we've got a whole lot of choice based on citizen requests and the level of interest that has been generated in ADA. In your opinion, Jacqueline, will this meet the requirements to give us some more time?
I haven't heard anything else from the state's ADA coordinator, and he was waiting for me to say what our plan was. I had told him that we were waiting for this, so I hope that by indicating that we have gone ahead, I mean, he understood that this summer we've had to cancel a few meetings because of quorum things, and that we only meet twice a month anyways, so it's a long way of saying I'm not sure, but I hope so.
I talked to Shelley myself and everything about this, and this is what she does. So she helps the cities come up with the ADA plans and stuff. So I talked to her about the pool, where we would put it, she's not putting it on the side. She said there's no way, you have to put it in the front, so that, that's what she told me. So, but this is what she does, and I would recommend, this.
So is there a motion to move forward with this?
I make a motion that we move forward with the formulation of the ADA plan using Shelley Kelly as our expert to a value of $5,000 not to be exceeded.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of moving forward with Shelley Kelly's proposal to create an ADA plan for the city to not exceed $5,000? Passes unanimous. Okay. Becky noted ahead of time that the dam repair from Steggy Lakes, we're still waiting to hear back information on that. We have nothing new. Going into other things, we need to set charges for the CRRP program. Becky found conflicting and different prices that were charged to people, and she would like just a set per square foot price that the city can charge. Do you have more information on that, Candy? I know she had some that were 10 cents, some that were 50 cents, and per square foot, and she would just ask the council to give us something specific so that she can contact those demolition houses and find out if they're still interested in so proceeding.
Well, I don't know how we can do it for 10 cents a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if
yesterday because I didn't understand it. She did not say anything about the dumpsters. She was just saying about, either 10 or 50 cents, whatever.
My concern with the program is that we have been assured by Public Works that they are capable of doing the job. I do not see that capability in our Public Works. I can't see how we can do it. I don't see why we should come up with a number for cost when we haven't got a way foreseeable to do the job.
So what is the pleasure of the council then?
I'd like to get bids to see what it would cost for an outside agency to do it.
Okay.
Yep.
And then table it until we can decide.
Okay, we will table that and get bids from outside sources. Okay, the next thing is sidewalk at 6th and Sycamore. The people on both sides of Sycamore, there on 6th, are requesting permission from the council to tear up the sidewalk that is in extreme disarray. They said that they will pay for it, all the work themselves, to tear up the sidewalk and return the ground to proper grade and everything. They would just like, or need, according to our codes, permission from council to so do.
Where's this at? This is
6th and Sycamore. It's on either side of Sycamore, on the south side of 6th.
that blue trailer house? Or just,
It's a small house, yeah.
The trailer house on the east and west side
Yeah.
of Sycamore.
and who's gonna do the work?
The people that live there, Alex Hadley and her family. So it wouldn't cost the city anything, they just would like permission to do that, and the neighbor has asked if they would do hers while they're doing theirs.
Does that raise any legal issue with us because of the ADA and because it's an old sidewalk? Is it ADA compliant? Are we gonna run into issues with that?
And if we let this one do it, are we gonna let the others? Because you can't let one do it without the other.
So I'll answer your second question first. Your codes give a mechanism for people to ask for approval. So that would be how you will let others, is they could also ask for approval. As to the first issue, knowledge of a dangerous condition is a problem in the first place. How that is resolved, there's multiple ways to go about doing that. If it is brought to your attention that something is in disarray, now you know that it is in disarray, and so action needs to be taken to rectify that situation. You could, once you make a decision for how to remedy it, you can always inspect and that sort of a thing. But as far as the ADA, it's already not ADA compliant in the condition that it's in.
But now we're more or less creating a new structure if they're gonna remove everything and redo it.
Well, they don't want to redo it, they just want to remove it and return the ground to no sidewalk, proper grade and everything.
So they're not returning the sidewalk at all?
No, their intention is to just remove the sidewalk that's in complete and total disarray that runs on their property and return that to proper grade.
I didn't understand that they were doing that.
It is probably safer to have it gone than to leave it, especially the area at the ditch. If they take it out now, we don't have to when we do the roads. The long flat stretch. I'm semi-ambivalent about the long flat stretch, the section over the ditch. I'm all about them taking that out and fixing grade.
the long flat stretch is anything but flat.
Okay, it does not look smooth like any
It
stretch
is
of the
definitely
imagination.
not. It matches some of our roads.
Make a motion to approve the homeowners to remove the sidewalk at 6th and Sycamore.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow the homeowners to remove the sidewalk at 6th and Sycamore, sidewalks at 6th and Sycamore. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Okay, dump truck repair. You have the estimation repair in your packet. It's
I do. The only
kind of rough both ways.
I only have one problem with the estimate. It looks to me like we're being charged a core charge on the turbocharger that they're replacing. I don't see why we should pay a core charge on what they're taking out.
The only way we would pay a core charge is if we didn't return the old one. So are we, why did you point the finger?
I said, bingo.
Yeah, so if they're doing the work, you're right, we should not be charged
paying
a core charge at all. And
Other than that, it is a standard international truck repair cost. It is one of the pains of owning an international. You're going to pay through the nose. It doesn't work. It's nothing but a yard ornament right now.
I would like for whoever is in, I guess Jimmy, to ask him why we're being charged the core charge. And I want to know if there's, is there a warranty on the parts, that they're putting in?
They like the tail lights. It'll run when it comes out of the shop. That's my only beef with it. I mean, it's an $8,000 repair to a truck that can do an awful lot for us. We need the truck. I think it's 8,000 something.
$8,734.64.
Without the core charge, $8,203.64.
You said what? 8,000 what?
$8203.64.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the dump truck in the amount of $8,203.64.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the dump truck repair at a cost of $8,203.64. Any other discussion? All those in favor? So carries unanimous. All right, street light repair on Main Street. Public Works and Becky and I have been asking different electric companies to kind of see if anybody could come give us an idea of what's wrong on Main Street and so forth. Of all of those, we only had one company that actually came out and looked and to provide us with any type of bid on what would be needed to do on Main Street. The question before the council at the moment is, with us asking over the past year for different people to come out and give us bids, do you want to open it up for bids to see if maybe we could get any more, we publicize it a little bit more or something? Or would you all like to see about potentially waiving the normal bid process and looking at and going with the bid that's been kind of given, without stating openly such bid, so as to, if they did go with the bid and process further, it would not be a conflict to the company that's already given us.
What's the scope of the work?
Pretty much all the lines have to be replaced. Right now we have 2 breakers running all of it, and it actually needs more like 30 breakers to actually do it correctly. And that's why we've been constantly tripping the breakers every time we've had activities or try to use the Christmas lights on the poles.
Is there a possibility of replacing the lights with solar lights? Not having to run lines? The only thing that we would be then running would be Christmas lights on those circuits?
I don't know that solar would be sufficient for the Christmas lights, but we also use...
No. I mean, we leave the existing infrastructure of lines there. Just take the actual street lights and replace them with solar and use the existing wiring for Christmas lights and events.
So the existing wire is insufficient for events, and it's barely working for the Christmas lights. Plus, the current lines that are ran for everything is not to current code. It is that old and patched that many times.
I'm guessing that the bid that you have is substantial.
Better than the first bid I heard when I first became mayor. And that company did not want to come and take a look for a second option.
If anything, we need to put it out for an RFP.
Okay. I know the Christmas committee and all would hope that there would be Christmas lights, so if we could accelerate that quick, that would be ideal. We're talking about 2 months.
We can only squeeze so much blood out of a turnip, and that turnip is getting pretty white.
Yeah.
We're broke.
I did discuss with Becky that we do have $49,000 in infrastructure that is unbudgeted that could be used. Some of that could be used to fix those lights and whatever amount the bid would be, but there is just...
If you bring it to code, that ain't touching it. My guess.
Do you know the bid? Do you know the amount to bid?
I do.
Can't say it because...
I know.
I
I'm
can't
just
say it unless we...
call executive session.
Yeah. Would that qualify?
It's not surprising that we have very little interest in bidding on one of our projects. We have a reputation throughout the state of not doing anything. So people aren't willing to invest the time in making an estimate.
Yeah.
God, it's hell being old.
I'd like to get, like, advertised for bids, open it for sealed bids. Maybe that will invigorate some people to come actually bid for it. So then again, I mean, if it's up there, I don't know what else we can do.
We also have the question of if we do open it for bids, then who's going to make the bid specs?
I am not an electrician.
Would any portion qualify?
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, if there was a motion to waive the bid process, Then there's discussing data related to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships. It's the only potential exception that it would fall under. But I would feel more comfortable if there was a waiver of the process first. But it's up to you all.
So if we had a motion to waive the process, then we could have an executive session regarding the potential client with the city. And then that didn't mean they would have to go with it, but it would open up that capability.
I mean, that's the catch-22, is because if you do that, then now you can't then go back to the sealed bid process. You would be waiving the process.
Okay. What is Cheryl's preference?
I'm not willing to waive the 3-bid process on a job of that scope. I recognize that we are lacking in public works with the lack of a supervisor that is capable of writing a bid spec. I guess we could hire an engineer to write that spec. In the long run, that would probably save us some money. Having somebody write the RFP for us.
Okay. So what is the pleasure of the council?
I guess make a motion to hire an engineer for bid specs for repair of the streetlights.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to hire an engineer to write the bid specs for the street light repair on Main Street. Any other discussion?
Would it be conceivable that instead of an engineer, we change that to qualified electrician? We might be able to get a more realistic service from a qualified electrician than we can from an engineer. I should have said that in the first place.
Is that a motion to amend?
I make a motion that we amend the motion to replace engineer with qualified electrician.
Electrician, they gonna touch that.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to amend the motion to be get a qualified engineer to write the bid specs.
Electrician.
A qualified electrician to write the bid specs for the street light repair on Main Street. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. The amendment is passed to qualify.
It's just to get a bid sheet or a spec. They're not gonna be touching it. We're about to rebid.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you got your housing electricians, the claim electricians, then you got your tire side electricians. Electricians plays a lot of different areas. I feel like that, you're one of an engineer. You do what you want, I mean, I'm just.
So we have on the table at the motion, at the moment, the motion to get a qualified electrician to write the bid specs for the street light repair on Main Street.
What?
I thought you guys already.
We already voted on that.
Yeah, I thought so too.
We voted on the amendment.
Oh, okay.
So now we have the actual motion as amended to be qualified electrician. Alternatively, you could put an or.
Qualified
Engineer
puts it in our hands to determine whether they are qualified to do it,
Okay.
to make that recommendation. you can get an electrician from an electronic or from an electrical contractor, which do have electrical degrees, and they are engineers, but they are not charging engineering fees.
Okay.
It's close, but not quite.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to get a qualified electrician to write the bid specs for the street light repairs on Main Street. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Okay. Health insurance renewals.
Is this a time critical item? Last year when we did the health insurance, there was a set of numbers that were provided to us with costs and benefits. Is it there and I just can't read it?
It's right in front of the ADA, right behind the.
That's right, this looks like those, Bill.
The little bitty squiggly parts.
Mhm.
It was just a single page. Do we know what we currently are using? I can't remember.
From my understanding, this is the same as what we currently have.
So all the numbers are just. I don't see where the changes, where they go up. Obviously they will go up.
So the first column is the current, the second one is the renewal. With a difference of a little under $1,000. Sorry, a little over $1,000. I said that backwards.
I don't think it's a renewal, I think it's just, you get to choose which one you want. That's what it looks like, option 1, option 2, or whatever. So I don't think it's the current, I think it's just,
On the column, it says current at the top in red letters.
oh, I see it.
And then the next column, it says renewal.
And that's on each of them. So current renewal, current renewal, current renewal. For Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Dental, and Surrency.
Column 1, column 3, column 5 say the current.
It's like $1,187.24 for the difference. And then about $185 for the dental.
Is the total paid right now, if you go to column 1, the 125, 755 plus 113, 179, is that the total?
Now what we would be, so it's got employer paid totals at the bottom, like a little bit up there, and then the grand monthly total, and then the grand annual total. From my understanding, it would be the grand annual total of $114,367.03.
Yes.
That makes sense, except for the annual premium up above is 125, 755.
So we get a discount if I
So
remember
the
correctly.
employee share is taken out of that.
Oh, okay, that's
And
what
the
it is.
discount. Yes.
And we get a discount with the multi-year thing, I think. I'll make a motion to approve the new health insurance, or the health insurance renewal.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the health insurance renewal. Any other discussion?
Bill? How many total employees do we have?
Candy?
That this applies to?
7?
7
No.
or 8?
7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10?
10 full-time.
You have 10 full-time.
So we're just under $1,000 a month in employee benefits for health insurance per person. I have no discussion.
Okay. All those in favor? Passes unanimous. Okay, approve Casey's 2026 CMB application.
I can do a motion to approve Casey's 2026 cereal malt beverage application.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
There was another cereal malt beverage license for the liquor store.
I don't think it's up for renewal yet.
Okay, it's not an annual thing?
It's an annual thing, but it's different times.
Different times.
Okay.
All in favor? Passes unanimous. Jacqueline, did you have anything?
Yep, I have two things. One, ordinances are effective on the date that they are published pursuant to KSA 12-3007. So any ordinance that would have been passed at the last council meeting would be effective for you all to take action on today. Also, 754318, section F pertains to serial meetings. Interactive communications in a series shall be open if they collectively involve a majority of the membership of the public body, share a common topic of discussion concerning the business or affairs of the public body or agency, and are intended by the participants to reach an agreement on a matter that would require binding action to be taken by the public body or agency. One-way communication from myself to various members of the body without describing the intentions of anybody else do not qualify for a serial meeting. So the fact that you and Mr. Portman, you, Ms. Sharkrice, said you didn't have any idea that anybody else had that conversation demonstrates that nothing that I said to you qualifies as a serial meeting. I work for the body of the governing body of the city of Pleasanton, not for the mayor. And so to the extent that there is confusion regarding whether something is a charter ordinance or a regular ordinance, whether an ordinance can be amended or not amended, whether action should be taken or not taken regarding reasonable notice for water. Those are all things that I am allowed to give advice to individual members of the governing body, especially insofar as not one of you knew that I had spoken to another one. That clearly demonstrates that there was no intention by any member to reach any kind of agreement concerning anything. So any allegation to the contrary is false.
Aaron, did you have anything?
No, I said my 2 cents.
Rochelle?
Yeah, last night when we came out of the community center, is there a way we can, on the south side, when the people are coming out, it's super dark. Is there a way we could put some lights there so they can see that sidewalk? And then, that long sidewalk, and then there's that sidewalk where the porta potties set, so that people can see what they're doing and not fall.
The one straight out the south side of the community center?
Yeah.
Or- okay. I know there's lights on the side there. We can make sure we can brighten those up, I imagine.
Somehow we're gonna have to, because, I mean, it's just not me and other people. It was elderly, walking, and they're like, we cannot see, and you can't, because it's just as dark as this and everything. So we need to, if they're gonna have bingo, they're gonna have something there at night, and it's really dark, they have a right to be able to see the sidewalk.
Okay. Jackie Taylor, you had something to comment on that?
Yeah, on the east side, where you step out of that building, it is dark as pitch there, and you need a hand railing on there, because my dad almost fell, some of these other people have almost fallen, and it's a serious liability on that thing. There needs a light up above and a handrail.
Well, and also, like I said, last night they had bingo, and multiple elderlies were walking, and they're like, we cannot see and everything. And so we need to make it better for our citizens. We need to make it where they can see and, appreciate what's coming to and supporting our stuff that we have in our town.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a motion light, because motion lights don't cost much. Make a motion light, get one of those bright lights and hang up there, and that'll do it. Or
Okay.
that's what I think. That's what I think should happen, is to have 2 motion lights and a railing.
Okay. We'll work on getting that hand railing put up and check all the lights there at the community center.
And put some
Make
lights
sure they're
up.
up and working. Yes.
Not just on the building, somewhere else too.
Handrail.
And
Anything else on anything? I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Please sign this before you leave.
Sorry.
Yeah, the publication.
Sure did.
Over here, it looked upside down.
I sure did.
I was gonna say, you're pretty talented. I can't even write my brain right side up and frontward.
I tried though.
I'll tell you how to first,
Yeah, my dad.
Consider it one day.